Welcome back, everybody, to another Should You Watch here on the channel, where we are going even deeper into the abyss that is the anime 2023 spring season. I say it differently every single time, but it doesn't change what it is.
You're on a theme today, though.
What?
In this set of recordings in particular, you're calling it seas and abyss. And
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what else, what other
references are there.
Aquatic references you can make.
But we are going to do something that has to do with water, I guess, because it's like an island. So yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to go based on the name. It wasn't.
But we are going to be covering Hell's Paradise, which is a very interesting looking and interesting in composition anime that is airing right now. And we're going to start off with a description from Christian.
It's full of water. Hell's Paradise is just
all water. It's water world.
Hell's Paradise is a new Studio Mappa anime that doesn't quite clearly convey what it's going for at the very beginning. And it has this very dead-eyed looking, shonen protagonist looking individual who is slated for execution. We're introduced to the concept of who this character is and a little bit about the world that we're in. We find out that this little individual here is a ninja. Yes, you heard that correctly. Not like Naruto Shinobi, but like proper like assassins, ninja, and so on and so forth. He's killed so many people. He's known as Gabimaru the Hollow. He has killed ruthlessly for many years and has finally been captured and detained and has been slated for execution. Now, similar to one of the recent big bads in One Piece, no matter how they try to execute him, every method fails. And we get very good detail about how it should kill him and some really interesting fun facts about these different execution methods that were existing at that time in Japan. This is also set in like a ancient Japan.
Like feudal era
type Japan. There's a shogun and the whole 9 yards. While we're also following this woman named Sagiri, who seems to be scribing some of his, final moments and some of the things about his life. We find out that he tried to leave his ninja village, the Iwagakure, which means
the village hidden in the stone.
He would know that because he's a Naruto fanboy.
Yeah.
And as he tried to leave, he was betrayed and brought to the authorities. The woman Sagiri begins to unravel for him that it is in fact his desire to live that led him to leaving Iwagakure and the love he feels for his wife, the chief's daughter, and how he wants the two of them to leave the village and have a peaceful life. As you should.
Yep.
That's good retirement ideas right there. Of course, they're having none of it, so they set him up for execution. After all these execution methods fail, we find that Sagiri, the scribe woman who's been writing down his tales and bringing all this emotion out of him, the Hollow, we find that she's actually the executioner. Her name is Yamada Asaemon Sagiri. Now, they're part of an elite group of executioners and sword testers that are the cream of the crop at killing people who deserve to die.
And making medicine.
Which we find out later. For the first time in the entirety of these slew of executions we get shown, it is the first time Gabimaru actively resists. He is dodging and fighting back, and it's because she brought it out of him that he wants to live. She basically makes him come to terms to it and presents him with a pardon, saying, if you go to what's known as Hell's Paradise and get the Elixir of Immortality for the Shogun, you and your wife will get a full pardon and go on living your lives however you want. That's the first episode of Hell's Paradise. It does not cleanly convey what the story is going for. As we find in further episodes, there are a bunch of death row criminals who have been given the same potential pardon by different members of that Yamada clan, the Asaemon. And I'm going to leave it off for there as we delve into some other aspects of the show.
Absolutely. I think it has a strong first episode, but in how it's composed, definitely in the running for those strongest first episodes of the season. I think nobody will ever beat Oshinoko, but that's not really a fair comparison.
That's not a fair comparison.
We're going to start off with the art style. What do we think about the art style? Let's start off in the first episode and what it kind of turns into later on, because there's definitely a shift after the first episode in terms of the art style. Elaine, let's start off with you.
I think the art style is suitable for the anime. The fact that it's set in Japan, it has a very traditional Japanese feel without being like wall scroll traditional, if that makes any sense at all.
Yes.
And it's aesthetically pleasing in many instances and then very gruesome in others, which again, I feel like fits the anime perfectly. I mean, we're talking about executions, ways in which one can be murdered, betrayal, death, all the dark things. So it works out pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, MAPPA has brought us another banger. You know, MAPPA as an animation studio has brought us some fantastic pieces like Attack on Titan and even the cooking anime that I can't remember from the previous winter 2023 season.
Oh, yeah.
And those are just
Campfire cooking in
Campfire
another
cooking.
world.
Yes, so they have a lot of attention to detail in their animation style and like a lot of their movement things, and having a ninja fighting against these fantastical creatures and these other like death row criminals who can just be from any other walk of life in Japan or feudal Japan really lets MAPPA shine in how smooth a lot of the movements are and how bombastic some of the fire is and some of the more like energy-based things. Now, it's not throwing energy around like Dragon Ball Z and Aura Piece like the new One Piece is right now, but they are doing a very clean job, and the colors are super bright and vibrant when you get to Hell or Hell's Paradise, as we see these just insane monstrosities. Now, they definitely, in my opinion, took some of their previous, assets that they
From the
used for
Titans?
Attack on Titan because of those Titan-like creatures that we see in episodes 2, 3, and 4. We watched the 4th episode, by the way, guys. Those Titan-like creatures that they have that big old, like, wrong proportioned, too big for their bodies, and just unsightly clumsy.
Yeah.
I think that first thing I thought of was, there it is. That's
And
the MAPPA thing.
Uncanny like facial expressions and stuff where there's like they're smiling and like weird things. That was like that kind of gruesome thing that you got introduced to on Attack on Titan, where it's like you have this giant smiling big-headed creature it's going to just eat you alive, and you definitely get that sense here from Hell's Paradise. I like the art style. I think they do a really good job. They do a really good job with the fire specifically. It comes up several times, and those kind of vision dream sequences that the Yamada clan member, the executioner, that I can't remember, Sagiri, yeah.
We'll get there.
When she kind of goes into these sequences where like there's like hands grabbing her and stuff, those look pretty cool. And yeah, I definitely think that it lives up to that MAPPA kind of thing that you expect. Absolutely. So let's go on to the characters. What do we think about collectively the characters?
All 2 characters.
Yes.
I mean, there are more, but they're probably going to die, so we're not going to talk about
spoiler
them.
on that. I don't even think we got the names of half the people we saw die.
Yeah.
Like, they looked important. Like, everyone has that, like, anime protagonist look to them in some aspects, or like they could be a big major character. And I want to say we cull 80% of them within the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
That's saying something. Like, that's quicker than Chainsaw Man did that. And they did that at like the midpoint of the season.
Yeah, they definitely all had that. It gave me the thought of like, what was it called? Basilisk. Do you remember that show? Did you ever watch it? Where they all like the different ninja clans had different abilities, and they all were very unique designs and everything. That's why like when an anime really touches on that like ninja clan kind of thing, putting Naruto aside, but like that traditional ninja clan kind of thing, and they really want to delve into what makes them all different and everything. This really touches on that kind of stuff where they each have their own specializations and everything. They all have well thought out designs, and they're just like there to die pretty much. They show how terrible Hell's Paradise is, and that the kind of brutal animation that you get with some of the fighting, like there was definitely like some brutality there, which is really cool. I like
with Gabimaru, as far as like character development and things will go. I like that we started with everything we know about this character is that he doesn't feel, followed by a quick like, here's why you're wrong. Here's why you don't think you feel, and why other people say that, but you actually do feel. And like that kind of like quick turnaround for himself. And I really enjoyed that, as well as that like duality there that Sagiri is dealing with, like her personal hangups about being an executioner and having to kill people, and if she is a swift and just and righteous blade to take it a head off in one swing. And she can see that, through Gabimaru's hollowness, it's not that he doesn't care about life, it is that he is strong enough to know what he's doing and the decisions he's making, and like follow through with it, that confidence, self-confidence. I do like that dynamic between the 2 of them. And then when they finally get to Hell's Paradise, they are still on opposite sides here. Gabimaru is a criminal who is in custody. Sagiri is his
monitor,
basically.
I think that's what they called them.
Yeah, monitors. So they very quickly begin to become at odds before things start kicking off with creatures and other death row inmates and whatnot. So I definitely like where the characters are moving, and I'm interested to see who makes it out, because based on the plot, only one of them is going to make it out. And it's probably going to be our main character.
I would imagine. The one thing I will say about Sagiri is she had a quick character realization and turnaround in like episode 2, at the end of episode 2 and into episode 3, that I thought was somewhat unearned, because I feel like it was based on a connection that she had with him that I didn't think was really built up enough to kind of flip her around. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because I wasn't sure if it was exactly earned based on what they had shown us, but I'm also kind of glad that it's out of the way, because it could have been something that dragged on for a really long time and gotten really tiring. So part of me's happy that they just got it out of the way. Part of me's like, well, I feel like you're talking in a way that doesn't really mesh with what we've been shown so far. But that's also kind of par for the course on anime, that everybody's just like instantly emotionally deeply connected from the moment that they see each other. What do you think on the characters?
I think they've done a very good job developing them so far. Like, we're introduced to someone who's condemned, the shadow of a man, and as the story progresses a bit, we see that he has depth. He's not quite a shadow, but he's lost. He has these feelings that he's trying to bury and contend with, and he doesn't necessarily do that in the best way. He wants to, honor his wife, and he's kind of at contrast and at odds with the nature of his life and who he wants to be and where he wants to go. He wants to have this peaceful life, but it's impossible. His clan won't allow him to have that. He's going to be executed. Now he's given this chance to potentially start over and violence again. Like, he just can't catch a break. Sagiri is, I find, a little less compelling. She's definitely more rigid than Gabimaru. She is made fun of by her clan for following the rules and not being as strong as them and being able to carry out her job as easily. And there's some simplicity in that, which I think can be delved into and made more compelling and interesting, but that's going to take time.
Absolutely. So I think we should jump into the should you watch segment here, and I'd like to mix into your should you watch response if you have any hopes for the future or any things that pitfalls that you might approach or be fearful of in the series like this. Let's start with you, Christian.
I definitely think you should check it out. I think it's going to be one of the better anime choices out of I think I saw 25 or 23 or 25 different newly premiering anime. I definitely think this is top 3, if not the best one. As far as things I can hope for, I hope that we continue doing what they're doing. I think they're doing a really good job. I like being surprised by what's going on here, but like having that expectation, that like fearful expectation of like, I know something bad is going to happen. I just kind of need to see more to know what exactly the bad thing is going to be, between like the hand sting and the guy having to cut his own hand off, people dying from flowers and things like that. There's just a lot here that's like terrifying at its core, but not horror strictly. And I do like that. Pitfalls, I think if this turns into a ragtag band of misfits making their way through Hell's Paradise, I think it might lessen what's going on here a bit. I do like that everyone is inherently evil and mistrusting of each other and not able to really be in the same place at the same time without some sort of adversity. I do like that part of this. It really sells that these are death row inmates. They are heartless, cold-blooded, and the only way that they could ever not be executed was if they did this impossible task.
Yeah, I do see it has the potential to turn into that, though. There is the seeds planted there, and I could see them going that route. What about you, Elaine?
I think for the most part, this is a fairly well-constructed story. I think it's one of the better animes from the season as well, as far as just sheer construction and how it's paced and those things. There is a little bit of emphasis on things that really don't affect the story from time to time. Like, for example, in the first episode, there was basically 10 minutes of details about different execution methods, and I personally didn't think that was necessary. I get that this is an execution. I, as a viewer, understand how these people are going to be executed. I don't need the gruesome details. Let's just move on ahead. I think that the risk for this one is just like any other anime. Usually the protagonist is super strong, has a superpower, is really gifted. We can see that Gabimaru is a very gifted shinobi. And sometimes they face these obstacles in anime that aren't really obstacles because they're super easy, barely an inconvenience to defeat. And it's just like, okay, like this isn't conflict the way conflict's supposed to be conflict. And I could see that being a problem because he seems to be significantly stronger than everyone around him because he's bested many people when he was like tied up and chained. And I mean, they said he killed 20 people when he was taken in. I mean, that's a lot of people. Like, just give him an actual challenge is all I'm saying.
So is that a should you watch or not?
And I'm going to go with no. I don't think this is, by any stretch of the imagination, a bad anime. It's just I am not into gruesome things. I don't really like the dark stuff, so personally, this isn't for me. But if that's something you're okay with, I think this is a good anime for you.
Outvoted again, Elaine, because I'm going with yes.
I know.
This anime looks really nice. The different character abilities and fighting styles and stuff is cool. There's a lot of variety in the things that they're going to come up against, which is something that I think I'm interested to see what gruesome, weird, uncanny creatures they end up coming up against. My biggest hope is that I get a satisfying payoff as to the origins of this land. That's something that ties it all together, overarching something. That's what I'm always looking for. That, like, I always like that mystery box kind of thing that I think a lot of people don't pull off very well, and I'm hoping that they do.
They did mention that the chief of the Iwagakure probably also found the Elixir of Immortality, so there has to be some sort of like tie-in for like the background of the characters and whatnot for this area and some details about this area. Otherwise, we wouldn't know that there's a character who possibly already has been here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just hoping that that pays off in a big enough way to justify the journey there. Not that I don't think the journey will be fun. Pitfalls, I kind of agree with the ragtag bunch kind of thing, because we've already kind of started it, because we've already gotten two of the groups together, and we're getting that typical like butting heads kind of shonen and female protagonist kind of thing going back and forth. So there is potential that they're going to team up and that kind of thing. I'd prefer that not be the case. So that is a potential pitfall. I don't really see a lot of other ways that it could go bad unless it goes into the too jokey of a direction, which there is a possibility. They have hinted at some things, and I'd rather it stay more of that Attack on Titan vibe where it's, yeah, there's camaraderie, but there's not jokes and you're waiting for the next big death to happen or big revelation to happen. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. So 2 yeses and a no. Something that you should say yes to is more of this should you watch content here on the channel. And I definitely think if you like this, leave a like on this video. Leave a comment down below. Have you seen any of Hell's Paradise? What other anime are you watching this season? And give us recommendations for things that we can cover going forward, whether it's new or old. We'll cover everything. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of this content going forward. Ring that bell so you know what's up, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Ding ding.
Hey, all you kings, queens, and in-betweens. I just wanted to let you know that the folks over at Primal TCG have set up a promo for just our viewers. Use the promo code KINGS10 at shop.primaltcg.com for $10 off your purchase. I recommend popping in for the deck box bundle. For just $60 and $50 with our code, you get one of their premium deck boxes and their extended promo bundle, including a promo pack, a pre-release pack, and 2 demo decks. Everything you need to get started.